What's up, everybody? How is everyone doing today? Who we got in the chat so far? Who we got? Nathan and Sandy. What's up? Oh, yes. Shout out to Kelly Monaco. It is 19 years since Kelly debuted as Sam McCall on GH. So let's celebrate that first of all. Man, 19 years. My goodness. I can't believe it's been that long. You guys are speculating on the attacker. Sandy, you think Esme? Nathan, you think one of Michael Easton's characters? That'd be an interesting twist. I'll let you know who I think in a moment. Well, not in a moment, but when we discuss the show, because I have my own suspect as well. But how are y'all doing today? You guys doing well? Did you guys have a good weekend? I hope so. Yes, congrats to Sammy McCall. But yeah, y'all, we have a lot to discuss today. There, you know, as slow as the week started, there's still a lot to discuss. But before we do, we have news on Emma Samms. We have an air date for her. Emma Samms, who plays Holly Sutton, of course, or Holly Scorpio, depending on how you like to see her. But yeah, tentatively, she is supposed to return October 19th. Fingers crossed that we don't get any preemptions, because I feel like we probably will, but hopefully we don't. I'm glad you guys had a good weekend. Also, I missed it completely. I'm assuming it was a blink and you miss it moment, but apparently an original GH'er was an extra at the Metro Court in, I think, Thursday or Friday's episode. And it was an actress named Robin Blake, who played Nurse Judy Clampett in the 60s and in the 70s. But I don't know why they would just make her an extra, or not focus. I don't know if I missed it completely. I didn't see the camera focus on her. I didn't even catch a glimpse. I only seen pictures on GH's social media that she was there, and she was posed beside Cynthia Waitrose, who plays Nina. But yeah. Interesting tidbit there. I don't know why they would make her an extra at the Metro Court, though. At least make her a patient at GH. I just don't understand. I'll never understand. Man, I got some Zen music playing. Sorry, I'm just quickly going over my notes because, wow, there is a lot to discuss. And if y'all are ready, we can begin, but let me know, okay? There we go. Can't believe it's October already, you guys. My goodness. That means we'll be watching some spooky stuff soon. Oh, Sandy, you ready? All right. But yeah, I think in terms of the Wednesday live streams, the, classic GH reactions, you're ready to, Nathan? Awesome. We should be wrapping up the Mexico Adventure storyline from 1984 probably this Wednesday before I take off to Montreal. So the timing is good. And by the time we're back, then Emma Samms will almost be here. The year is ending pretty fast. I know. My goodness, we're almost at 2023, you guys. All right, but let's go. Let's get it started, right? What's up, everybody? Welcome to General Hospital MV, my GH after show. Let's get into it. When we last left off, the maniac with a hook was sneaking up on Diane at Brando's garage. Monday, we seen her on the floor, unconscious, covered in blood. Alexis and Gregory, who are on their own mission to do a bit of research, trying to track down the killer, shows up to the garage looking for clues, and instead they find Dex covered in blood over Diane's body, but he insists he was trying to revive her and that he had already called 911. Neither Alexis or Gregory were 100% convinced that he called 911, so Alexis called just to be on the safe side. Eventually, Mac arrives on the scene and he isn't too pleased to see Dex there again, considering he's been at every single attack, and he takes him down to the station. Hey Angel, good to see you. I want to relay that I don't personally think that Dex is behind this. I think that the writers are trying like hell to make it look like Dex is the killer. But I feel like, you know, us diehard fans know how GH operates and that it's just a little bit too easy to make it Dex. But obviously I can see why everyone in the town of Port Charles might think so. Is daylight savings tonight? I don't think so. I think it's... Oh, but if it is... Now you got me scared, because I gotta set my clocks if that's the case. I think it's a little bit further down the road, though, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Dex is too easy. But yeah, anyway, naturally, Dex gets interrogated by Dante, and he explains why he was at the garage and insists that he didn't do or see anything, and he just found Diane on the floor. Dante suggests that he gets a lawyer, but, you know, the lawyer that he probably would have gotten is indisposed at the moment, so he calls Sonny. No, not tonight, Sandy? Okay, thank you. November 6th? That seems later than usual. You might be right, though. I don't know. Nathan, you said, as much as I love Diane, she hasn't had a big storyline and has most of all been on recurring. If she goes, I would miss Carolyn Hennessy, but at the same time, it wouldn't be a big loss. I'd be mad if they killed her off, to be honest. Like, Diane's such a breath of fresh air, you know what I mean? Carolyn plays her so well. I love Carolyn Hennessy, and I've seen her in other shows and other movies, and she's a riot in every single one. She kills her roles, honestly. Yeah, I hope she doesn't die. I don't think she'll die, but I hope she doesn't die. Let's see. Sorry, I almost lost where I was. Okay, so Dex calls Sonny instead, and Dante explains that Dex was at all 3 attacks at the scene of the crime, and Sonny asks if he was under arrest, which Dex wasn't, and Sonny takes him away. Unfortunately for Dex, calling Sonny may not have been the best move because Sonny doesn't really know him that well yet, and he suspects that Dex could be the killer, so he throws him in a freezer and gets someone to torture him until he confesses that he is the one that does it. However, obviously Dex didn't do it, so he's pretty much begging for his life. Unfortunately for me, as serious as the scene is supposed to be, my stupid horny ass was enjoying seeing Dex tied up, looking hot as hell while the guy was getting tortured. I'm sorry, I'm human. Yes, Sandy, Diane can't die, we need her. Absolutely agree. It was trippy to see Carolyn. Oh yeah, she was in True Blood. I almost forgot about that. Yeah, I seen her in that role too. I seen her in a Netflix movie just a couple years back too, like during the pandemic, and I was thrown. I can't remember what it was called though, but she was hilarious in that. Nathan, you said you felt bad for Dex, but Dex is playing a dangerous game right now. He's going to get exposed. Yeah, no kidding. And we're going to get into sort of the Dex Michael angle in a second, but I want to just kind of cut to Joss, Cam, Trina, and Rory for a minute, because during the time that Dex was being tortured, Joss, Cam, Trina, and Rory are having a double date at the axe throwing range, and they're having a friendly competition. And I want to point out that Rory seemed to be the only one that hit the bullseye, which wouldn't worry me if Jordan didn't call Rory and ask him to guard Diane. Not that anything has happened to her yet, but it's got me on high alert. Rory is my current suspect. Because, I think at the beginning a lot of us thought that there was a connection between Rory and Esme that we weren't aware of. And I think the writers, if that is the case, did a good job at throwing us off that scent, because they had Rory and Esme interact, without anyone being around them until Trina walked in a little bit later. But, anything's possible on the show. And we know Esme's coming back soon. They announced that too. But yeah, he does fill the teen scene in on Diane being attacked, and even mentions that a suspect was brought in that had appeared at all 3 attacks, and Jocelyn figures out pretty easily that it's clearly Dex that was the suspect, and heads over to the PCPD. But obviously, by the time that she got there, Sonny had already taken Dex away with his Goombas in a freezer. She mentions to Dante that she remembers something from the night that Brando got attacked. She heard jingling, perhaps the jingling Dex dog tags make. But Dante asks her if she remembers what he was wearing the night Ava was attacked. She said that he was wearing a white shirt and it was clean. If he had attacked Ava, it wouldn't have been clean. Dante kind of suggests that maybe he switched shirts, but Jocelyn was certain that she found Ava right after she was attacked, and that Dex wouldn't have time to switch his shirt. Heads up from spoilers, next Thursday the Hook Killer strikes again. I'll be on a flight! Oh no! This is my luck. Every time that something big happens on GH, I'm out of town. But at least it'll be a lot easier to catch up this time. Next Friday, GH will be preempted because of the MLB playoffs. Hopefully, GH already took that into consideration, because I think the Emma Sam's article dropped today. So hopefully they already know that. If not, there you have it. Anyway, at the same time, Michael and Sam were at the hospital, and she explained to Michael that Alexis and Gregory found Dex at the scene, and Michael wonders if he was brought in for questioning as well. When he hears that Sonny had left with him from the PCPD, he beelines it to Bazzulo's to confront Sonny. Rory is small like the person who attacked Diane. Yeah, see? It could be Rory. But yeah, I haven't been paying close attention to the height. I just keep on focusing on the fact that, whoever this was strong enough to take down Brando, who's, a strong army dude. Did Britt move to Hawaii or just visiting? I just looked at her Twitter. I don't think she's moved. She clearly, to me, because I follow her on Instagram, she seems like she's just on vacation and staying at a hotel. So I think she's just living her best life. But a lot of the GH cast does seem to be on vacation. They do seem to be having time off, so that's my guess. But anyway, Michael's not that subtle at trying to make sure Sonny doesn't kill Dex, so much so that Sonny's like, why are you so convinced that Dex didn't do this? Why are you defending one of my men when you hate me so much? And Michael comes up with idiotic excuses. He's very bad at lying, and I think Sonny kind of pegged that. I don't think that he's figured out that Dex is working for Michael, but he knows that Michael's hiding something. If he doesn't, then he's more stupid than I give him credit for, because I generally think that Sonny's kind of dumb in the first place. Nathan said she already filmed her scenes and is on station 19 when KT returns, and she exits in November. Time will tell. I don't think she's off the show for good. I think she'll take some time off, but I think she'll be back if there's any time off at all. It's filmed on the same lot, you guys. I should also mention Jocelyn also stopped by Pizzulo's to tell Sonny that she insists she knows that Dex didn't do the attacks. And she even mentions the white shirt thing that Dante brought up and says that his top was clean. There was no time for him to get changed when Ava was attacked. It for sure wasn't him. So Sonny decides to put off torturing him for a while. Like, he's still holding him hostage, but like he's like, I'm not going to kill you. Ruthie said, you're wondering if Gregory and Alexis are going to get down with the get down, if you catch my meaning. I mean, I wouldn't doubt it. They're obviously pinning them together for a reason. And it goes far beyond, being rivalries on opinions and, in the newspaper. Glad you made it, DG. You haven't missed much. We just kind of touched base on the Diane stuff. She was attacked. She's in the hospital. The town suspects Dex. Sonny suspects Dex. Michael tried to cover for him. Jocelyn insisted that Dex isn't the one that killed these people or tried to kill these people. We all know Dex is going to be rescued. Yeah, I agree. I thought for a second he would confess about Michael, but I don't think that anymore. I kind of wanted him to. I kind of wanted him to. It would have been interesting if Sonny decided to turn the tables on Michael in a way if Dex confessed to working for Michael, in my opinion. Nathan, you said you don't think they're going to hook up Gregory and Alexis? Listen, not being interested has no bearing on whether these writers put couples together or not. Case in point, Sonny and Nina. And since we are on the topic of questionable romances that are blooming, let's discuss some of them, shall we? Oh, DG, you're saying you're calling it now? You think that Gregory's behind Liz's issues? He was gaslighting her, and he's tied to the issue with Finn's ex-wife. Gregory doesn't want Liz in his family? I don't know about that. I didn't see that. I mean, I could have missed. Did I miss something? I don't know. Did Anna have long hair for a while, or did she just start having long hair for that scene of this week? Honestly, I don't know. Truth be told, I was trying to look away from the Valentine and Anna love scenes. And we'll get to them in a minute, but for now, let's talk about Ava and Nicholas. Since they're, the number one toxic couple on the show right now. Nicholas had gotten advice from Alexis last week that he needed to give Ava something in return since she would be giving up her dignity to be with him again. And Nicholas decides to put his life in Ava's hands by giving her an envelope that contained a confession of being responsible for Esme's murder solely on his own. But that's not enough for Ava. So she gets him to say on video the very confession that he wrote so that it can't be forged or anything. And that weirdly, but not so surprisingly, turns Ava on a little bit. And she seems more down to get back into his bed. Not that she has yet, but considering the fact that one of the first times that they made love was when she accidentally stabbed him with a knife, it's not that surprising. Not that surprising at all. Sorry, I am looking through the comments. Ruthie said, you hope our legal eagle, Diane Miller, fashion diva in her own right, makes it out alive. I do too, Ruth. I really do. I hope Sonny takes some out to eat. Or whoever did this to her. DG, you said, I don't want the Dex undercover story to end just yet. I want Jocelyn to get deeply involved with Dex and then find out about Michael's scheme. That could be a good plot too, honestly. Oh, you want Joss to team up with Michael and Dex against Sonny? I mean, she would. You know she'd be down for that. Oh, Jake, you think Gregory might be behind what happened to Reiko? Yeah, we don't know for certain that the guy on the steps with Liz is Jeff, because they don't show his face and she can't see his face, right? That could have been Gregory. Dude, that'd be a weird twist. Finola Hughes has always had somewhat long hair from the first day. I think she's just referring to, like, long hair in comparison to last week. Longer hair than what she normally has. Why does Liz know anything about Finn's wife and her father? I mean, she doesn't know much, just that, you know, the girl that she drew in the photo is definitely Reiko from the photo that she saw on Finn's phone. But we're going to talk about that a little bit later, too. Actually, pretty soon. They're actually next to my notes. Ruth, you said Nina and Sonny. That should be their name, Nunny. Nina and Sonny are my at least 3 of his characters next to Anna and Valentine. Get me a Goatone for both of those two. Nathan, you said, if that happens, Alexis is going to get duped since Gregory could be crooked due to Liz's issues. All the men she's been with, most of them have been bad guys. Yeah, that's true. The only one that wasn't really bad when you think about it, it was Neil, right? Every other guy she's been with is shady, so why should this guy be any different? The woman Liz pushed down the steps is Finn's first wife. So she's tied to Liz's past. From the flashbacks, we know that Finn's ex-wife was also involved with Liz's dad, Jeff. Dan's going to survive. Yeah. Yeah, good point too, DG. Carolyn isn't on contract, so she's not really, you know, breaking the bank for the show. They use her when she's needed, and they seldom need her. Anna with hair extensions. Maybe. Ruth, I don't think that's the case. Why did Gregory want his phone? And that would be Finn to be miserable. Doesn't make much sense. He could be holding a grudge against Finn for, you know, sleeping with his wife. Nunny. Nunny like the mummy. Oh, but that's why you think Gregory is behind what happened to Liz, because of this angle with Finn's first wife. Gregory is trying to keep it all covered. Watch and see. I know how these writers think, because I'm one. Man, I mean, honestly, it wouldn't surprise me. There's not much to Gregory, really, as a character. Alright, but since we're talking about it anyway, we might as well get into Elizabeth and Finn. Before Ava was checked out of the hospital, Elizabeth did visit her, and they cleared the air about Nicholas and Elizabeth covering for each other, and how she warned her Nicholas wasn't with her the entire time, and just gave her a bit of insight on Nicholas's history. She said something to the effect that his love was unwavering, and that aside from her, there was only other woman he was in love with. And I had to question that, because I was like, they're probably referring to Emily, I would imagine, but like, he definitely loved Gia, and he definitely was in love with Elizabeth as well, although some would say it was more lust, which is honestly would make sense too, but they claim to be in love, so, you know. And also, you know, Nadine's in there somewhere, and Hayden and Britt, he wasn't very fond of Hayden, clearly, and not too fond of Britt, but like, he could have been falling in love with him. DG, you're hoping the next victim is Nina and she dies, but I'm sure that the brass want to get rid of Cynthia Waitrose. Oh, you're not sure the brass wants to get rid of Cynthia Waitrose. Though it would save money. I'm sure Cynthia doesn't come cheap. What are Selena Wu? What if... What? What are Selena Wu is that bike? I'm so confused. Alright, I'm gonna go back to my notes. So, where was I? Alright, so meanwhile, Finn and Nicholas get into a somewhat a pathetic brawl in the hospital halls that Alexis and Gregory had to break up. Obviously, Finn thinks that Nicholas is all for himself and couldn't care less about Elizabeth or her well-being. I don't think that's 100% true, but Nicholas is kind of hard to peg. Because when you think about how inconsistent the writing has been with Nicholas the last 10 years, it really is hard, especially when you compare it to, like, the previous 15 years of the character. Oh, yeah, Courtney was in there, too. Yeah, didn't he love Courtney? He had a son with her. Liz and Nick was lust. Nick was just a rebound for Liz. She really loved Lucky more than anyone. Yeah, but, you know, I think Lucky said it best is that you don't do that to someone you love. So, I don't know. As much as she may have loved him as a teenager, I think that, like, kind of got dead and buried once she had that affair with Jason. And then again with Nick. No one loved Courtney. She was a forced character. Brian Franz shopped her around to everyone. It was lame. No offense to Alicia Leigh Wills. She was a decent actor, but the character didn't fit. Yeah, like she was very take it or leave it from me from what I did see of her. I couldn't care less about the character personally. Emily was Nick's true greatest love to me. Yeah, I agree with that 100%, Angel, for sure. Emily was definitely the love of Nicholas's life. But anyway, Elizabeth clearly still has Reiko on the brain and starts to ask Gregory questions about her. Where will it lead? Who knows? Does anyone care? Not me. Where's Jeff? Bring him back already. That's all I care about with this story. But like I said, like I think that it's possible that the man on top of the stairs, now that you guys are sharing your theories, it could easily have been Gregory if there's something shady going on in that aspect. We can't rule that out. Although it would feel like another cop-out to make that Gregory and not Jeff, who we've been waiting for like, ever at this point. She didn't look anything like Maurice enough to be his friggin' sister. Yeah, it's true. Alright, since we were talking about Anna and Valentine for a bit, let's talk about them again. After their little adventure of trying to rescue Lucy from Victor's clutches, they got cozy by the fireplace in Anna's house, and it leads them to what I think is their first sex scene, right? Like, that was their first scene that we've seen them, like, hooking up with each other. Sorry, I'm also going back and forth on your comments, guys. That's what I'm saying, Jeff and Carolyn Weber. Courtney and Sonny are supposed to be half-siblings, different mothers. Yeah, but even I look like some of my half-siblings. I have 6, and I can definitely see some resemblance with each one of them. But Sonny and Courtney, no. Gregory will be right in the middle of the story with Finn's ex-wife. Just watch. I'm not betting against you, DG, honestly. Anyway, as for Anna and Valentine, I'm sorry, I know that they have their fans, but I personally think they're icky. I mean, their conversation before they went to bed was how they would literally kill each other if it meant protecting their children, but it's fine because they would miss each other. Like, what do they want me to say? Aw? I don't get it. It's so gross. But anyway, the next day they were practically glowing at the Metro Court and discussing their next move with Victor. And Nina runs into them and asks Valentine about Charlotte, which makes Valentine realize that they might be able to gain access to Charlotte without making Victor suspicious by using Nina in some way. Maybe Nina can go and visit her and check in on her and see what's up. Nathan, you said it's their first love scene. Okay, yeah. Some fool today threatened to report the love scene of Vanna to FCC. Why? Why? It wasn't even that. It wasn't that scandalous. Like, compared to some of the other scenes. Like, we literally had to blur out Lulu's boob once. And, like, for a love scene. Julie Berman, back when she and Dante made love. Y'all remember that? There was too much side boob. So they had to blur it out. DG said you're not a fan of JPS as Valentine, but I do think that he and Finola Hughes have good chemistry. But I'd rather see a more beefy, exotic actor to play the role of Valentine. Yeah, like, you know, because I watched in 2009 in the original Valentine and how they built him up, even though we didn't see his full face, like, I was pretty disappointed to see Valentine when he appeared. And then what they did to the character, inevitably. What if it's Lena who is Finn's dead wife? DG said, I think JPS is the least attractive guy with whom Finola been paired with. Both Tristan Rogers and Ian Buchanan were much better. I mean, those, like, Ian and Tristan were drop-dead gorgeous men in their day, and, you know, they're still very handsome and distinguished today. And they're also, you know, foreign accents and everything. It's just a hot situation. So they couldn't compare to any other love interest, even if, you know, James was like a hot, beefy American dude. You know what I mean? Child, who wants to report that? Exactly. There was nothing scandalous about that scene. Nathan, you remember the Lante love scene. It was too hot, but I loved it. And yeah, part of that love scene was blurred. Yep. JPS is skinny and pale and just not exotic like I'd want to Cassadine. Her mom was a blonde. That's not her fault. Ian is still very cute, well into his 50s. Tristan not so much, but he's still a good actor. I mean, Tristan's in his 70s at this point, right? You know? Age does catch up to all of us eventually. But yeah, Ian is still very distinguished in his 50s. Are they going to keep Chase naked in every scene? I mean, do you hate it? I don't hate it. I swear you guys are psychic because they're literally the next on my like notes here. So we just gonna get into it since you brought it up. We got a glimpse of Brooklyn and Chase this Friday. I always tear this story apart. So let me, for once, switch things up and say something positive about it. And no, I don't mean Chase's washboard abs or his puppy dog eyes and his cute little smile and his sexy beard and sexy chest hair. I'm talking about Brooklyn here. Brooklyn really reminded me of Lois this week, and how she was in the 90s. Just, you know, when it came to her artists and how she was super extra and like a bit of a drill sergeant with her artists, wanting to make sure things go off without a hitch. I seen a lot of Lois in Brooklyn on Friday's episode. And I'm not saying that Chase and Brooke are the next Ned and Lois. Far from it. I'm just saying she is definitely her mother's daughter. And it really makes me want to see Lois on the show again, just to watch her daughter at work and, you know, see her react to that. I'm sure most of you, or some of you at least, caught Maurice Bernard's State of Mind show today because he had Rena Sofer on, who played Lois in the 90s. And knowing that she's not on Bold anymore, of course, makes me want her back much more. But I did creep her Instagram pretty recently, and she actually said on the record that GH has not approached her to come back. And that's how y'all know the showrunners are hacks, because, you know, if you're gonna insist on trying to make Brooklyn Lois 2.0. Oh, sorry, what was it? Sorry, I'm reading. Oh, you love it, Sandy. Not y'all calling JPS bland as fuck. Sorry. He kind of is, though. Sandy, you love it. I didn't think the Lante love scene was all that. Maybe too much for daytime, but I'm used to HBO style love scenes. No, I'm just saying it was to me it was a typical soap love scene. It wasn't fire. They just had to blur out the side boob. That's all I'm saying. DG, yeah, you're here for Josh Sicard and his boxers. We need Lois back. He licked her. He left her head clean floor. Ruth, I'm sorry. I always have a bit of trouble kind of deciphering what you're saying. I don't know if you're using like, mic to talk or text to mic or whatever it is called. But I'm always very confused. Some GH fans are too conservative but want to watch a show for drama. Angel, you said I want Lois back. Brooklyn needs to get her voice back. I agree. I'm ready to go knock on Chase's door. Sandy! Nathan, you said when I heard that it made me shake my head. Yeah. Hearing that Rena Sofer wasn't approached. Yeah. But like I said, that's how you know the show's runners are trash. Like, if you're going to insist on trying to make Brooklyn Lois 2.0, you need to get the original back there to guide her. You know what I mean? I miss Lois so much. And, seeing Brooklyn kind of in, manager mode really made me miss Lois that much more. And then throw in Maurice Benard's state of mind, and I was just a mess. I was a mess this week, and even writing these notes, I'm like, man, I really miss Lois. I'd love to see her back on the show. Seeing Maurice's interview with her as well, I didn't know the ins and outs of why her and Wally broke up, but they seemed to be amicable. It seemed to be like a mutual decision to divorce. They seem to have a good friendship. She said that she adores Wally. So there really is no reason for her not to be back. So we just gotta wait for the showrunners to grow a brain and get her back. You need Lois back. Hey, Albert. Yeah, Rena confirmed herself that she was not approached by GH to return, so that was a false rumor. That's why I don't ever confirm anything when it comes to, like, rumored returns and stuff or rumored exits, because until we hear it from the horse's mouth, we don't know for sure. Or at least, like, something like, the soap magazines. You have too many characters, so if she came back, someone has to leave. Well, we already got rid of Brando, and we got a killer on the loose. It's easy peasy to bring her back. Oh, DG, it's such a good interview. You need to watch it for sure. She even does the Lois voice for a bit. So nostalgic. So nostalgic. She still got it. And they also share some interesting tidbits from their time on the show in the 90s. And you could tell that Sonny and that Maurice and Rena loved that they never actually put Sonny and Lois together. And loved the dynamics of their relationship as well. And she even has some tea about Vanessa Marcel. So if you want to hear some stories, you go check out that interview. Only puts stock in reliable sources like Soap Central. I know the owner, Dan Kroll, and he's very in the know with a lot of inside network sources. Okay, fair enough. Anyway, back to it. Like I was saying, Brooklyn definitely was showing, her professional side. She was showing far more restraint than I would have if a man that looked like Chase was begging to pull me into a bedroom. You know what I mean? Like, she stuck to her guns and said, put that energy into the show. And also got rid of everything in his fridge because most of it could affect his vocal cords. It was very classic Lois. I was so impressed. Sonny and Lois would have been weird, but Sonny and Emily was weird too. Yeah. No, I think the writers of the 90s knew that there needed to be platonic guy and girl friendships on the show. And they can't just, pair, every guy and girl together if they share scenes. Jake, you couldn't say no to those puppy dog eyes? Dude, I couldn't either. He was eye banging Brooklyn hard, yo. Oh man. But anyway, later on, Chase bumps into Sonny at the Metro Court and tells him to thank Nina for getting him the gig at the Savoy. But Sonny says that he doesn't think Nina even got to talk to Curtis, which has both Sonny and Chase a little bit baffled. But then Sonny remembers his conversation with Ms. Wu and how he mentioned Chase to her. And, Sonny has screwed everyone. Sorry, I'm reading your comments. Sonny has screwed everyone on GH but Lila Quartermain. Facts. But yeah, so it's interesting that Sonny kind of like caught on that Ms. Wu kind of was pulling the strings on that, because I don't know that he knew that Ms. Wu is kind of having Curtis in his clutches, but he's figuring it out. Man. But yeah, just before Chase had walked into the Metro Court and ran into Sonny, he was actually talking to Selena, and she was mentioning the game behind the Savoy and how a lot of players are going to be there, and invites him to it. And Sonny points out that because Chase is performing, that there would be a lot of law enforcement in that building, but Selena sees it as a great way for them to all be distracted so that they could have a high stakes game in the back. But yeah, Sonny's definitely starting to catch on with that. Miss Wu is a lot smarter than she gives, or that he gives her credit for. And to be fair, he does give her a lot of credit, but I just think that he thought he had her under control. And Sonny, I think you're going to realize soon that no one backs Ms. Wu in a corner. She's not someone to be messed with. Sonny has been shot more times than the rapper 50 Cent. 50 was shot 9 times, right? If I remember correctly. Man, I just remember that being like the main selling point for like 50 Cent and his like street cred. He got shot 9 times. All right, but let's move on. Jordan and Portia, we got to talk about them. We kind of touched base a little bit on Wednesday, but since we're talking about the Savoy, we might as well talk about Curtis and how his wife and his fiance had one hell of a blow up this week. Portia decided to try and confront Jordan on giving Curtis subtle hints that she's hiding something and accuses her of trying to get her husband back. And Jordan decides to clap back and say that she knows that Trina is likely Curtis's child. And between remembering what Portia had said when they were trapped in the basement and how she overheard her trying to find out if her daughter could inherit schizophrenia, Jordan letting Portia know that she got. And Portia is scared. You quit counting, DG? Hit with a few shells, now I walk with a limp. Portia's secret needs to be exposed. Yeah, you're right. I mean, Portia tries to play the blow up Curtis's, Trina's, and Taggart's life card, as one does in soap operas, but as Jordan points out, in the soap world, secrets have a way of coming out anyway. Even if Jordan does keep her mouth shut, and you know she's right, because this is GH. TG, you said you loved the Portia versus Jordan scene. Tanisha Harper owned that scene. Tanisha is the real deal, so talented and beautiful. Honestly, yeah, like, now that they're giving Tanisha more to do, she's finally getting to kind of show that, like, she's a contender, you know what I mean? Because I've been pretty harsh with Tanisha, because she's been very robotic for months, honestly. But the last week or so, she's definitely been utilized a lot better. Jordan said, "No, baby girl." Yeah, she truly did. Like, Portia's there trying to, like, blow a gasket saying, "You're trying to get your man back," and she's just like, "No, like, dead ass, I'm just trying to warn you from my own experiences that a secret is going to ruin your relationship with Curtis. If you don't tell him the truth, you're doomed from the start." That's all she's saying. Now, as good as Curtis and Trina's relationship has been, as in, Portia's daughter Trina, since the writers have finally circled back to this paternity storyline, they have to give a reason for Trina to start having a problem with Curtis again. And apparently him trying to keep her safe while giving her an amazing opportunity is a good enough reason to have Trina angry at Curtis again. Oh man, so contrived. Like, I don't know. They if they were going to start giving Curtis and Trina problems again, they should have slow built that, not just like dropped the bomb instantly the second that Jordan confronts Portia on Curtis being Trina's father, in my opinion. Tanisha has a very good range. She just needs the writers to flesh out the character. If I were running the show, I'd turn her into a WSB agent with Anna as her mentor. I mean, they should have been doing that the whole time, regardless of who played Jordan. Like, it's nice that they made Jordan and Anna kind of besties. But Jordan had a lot of potential, especially originally when she was undercover. Like, they made her a contender. It's just that, like, the mob can never lose, and that just makes her look like an idiot. And that's why I don't like the mob. Like, because it's such a staple on the show, we know that the good guys aren't going to win against them ever, no matter what. And it's frustrating to me. No one ever talks in private. They all go to the hospital or the Metro Court to have private conversations. True. That's exactly how Jordan found out about the schizophrenia thing in the first place. She was at the Metro Court pool, and Portia was having that conversation out in the open at the pool, right in front of Jordan. When the truth gets out, I don't see Trina opening up to Curtis anytime soon. Yeah, she's definitely going to be pretty messed up over the fact that Curtis is her father and that her mother lied to her whole life. I don't know what Taggart's reaction is going to be, though, because I'm pretty convinced he knows the truth and he's just not saying anything. You know what I mean? Because he knows the timing of their relationship just as well as Portia does. And if Curtis questioned it, then obviously Taggart would have questioned it too, right? Everyone is always sacrificed for the Corinthos mob. That's been GH for 30 years now. It's really hurt the show a lot. I agree. But I get, even then though, like, she was trying to take down the Jerome family. She wasn't even after the Corinthos family at the beginning of her time on the show. And it seemed like they were damn close on getting them too. But then they got Julian to stick around because, Julian and Alexis. Drove me nuts. But yeah, basically, back to Curtis and Trina. Curtis had a talk with Ava about keeping Trina safe and how they both agree that Trina shouldn't be working at the gallery when there is a killer after Ava because it puts her in danger. And Ava decides to shut down the gallery until this matter is dealt with. And then Curtis uses his connections to get her into the Port Charles's credited art museum that she's been dying to work at. But yeah. How dare you, Curtis? How dare you give this girl the opportunity of her lifetime? Trina's just so mad. But she did say that she appreciated it, but, like, she stayed mad anyway. Rail Andrews is so wasted on the shows these days. Taggart used to be a top player. Now he's the bozo that just stands around. Yeah, it's a bit wild that they don't utilize him. I think I'm going to assume that part of the reason is maybe because Real doesn't want to commit to the show. He doesn't seem to want to commit because they constantly go back and forth on the two actors that portray them. Oh, that reminds me. We are going to see the temporary recast for Brooklyn for an episode soon. Brianna, I think her name was, right? We're going to see her as Brooklyn one more time. Just for an episode. Curtis's whole family loves Trina, but they will be so upset with Portia. Oh yeah, for sure. All right, let's talk about Spencer since we're talking about Trina. Turns out he's having a pretty rough time in prison. His fellow prisoners don't take kindly to rich people being protected by rich uncles, or how a cop got him a cushy job at a library in there, and they've been roughing him up a little bit. Victor went to visit him and seen the state that he was in and offered to help more, but Spencer thinks it'll only make things worse. I mean, maybe it'll help build Spencer's character a bit. I just hope that this isn't a sort of redux version of Michael's prison storyline, because I don't want to see Spencer put through that situation in prison. I really don't want to see that. Real has cancer or recovering. He is recovering from cancer, yeah. But, like, he stays in good shape, you know what I mean? And, like, also, Cameron Matheson is recovering from cancer as well. And he's still on there. He's on the show quite a lot. Trina should go to see Spencer. I'm sure she will. The fact that no one besides Victor has visited Spencer, Spencer could turn out dark once released. I mean, I wouldn't blame him. And see, that story would make sense, whereas Nicholas just became dark out of nowhere, it seemed. He should go off on everyone, including Laura, who is on vacation in Italy. Such a great mayor, right? I see, that's the shitty part with making Laura the mayor, is that it doesn't make sense that she's gone like 6 months out of the year. Every year. Victor's and Sonny's protection isn't working. I hate to see what Spencer would look like without the protection. No kidding. I didn't know Cameron Matheson had cancer. Yeah, he was recovering. That's why he was kind of off like acting gigs for a long time. That's true. The cancer might affect them in different ways. That's true. But it does seem like Real Andrews does keep busy. Like I think I follow him on Instagram, and he keeps busy even when he's not on the show. So who knows? Who knows? I'm sure Spencer wishes he had taken that 10-day plea deal at Spring Ridge. Yeah, he probably does. But he had to punish himself, you know. DG, you said I got the idea the other day that the hook killer could be Marshall gone nuts with schizophrenia. I thought about that too, actually, like at the start of the storyline. Just because Marshall is never seen anywhere when these attacks go down. So there's plenty of time for him to do it. And we know that he wasn't a big fan of Sonny. So, you know, maybe the schizophrenic side of him is kind of taking over and saying, you have to, like, get rid of, you know, his family so that you can neutralize Sonny. I like that. That wouldn't surprise me, DG. That was my original theory when the first time the killer striked. Yeah, for sure it won't be Dex. Jake, you're right. Perhaps he's targeting those tied to Trina. It could be Trina or Sonny. Yeah, Angel. I don't want him to get R-worded either. Yeah, it was it was shocking that they went that way with Michael. I think I think that Chad did a decent job with the storyline. It was just unfortunate. No one likes rats saying with Spencer just saying. True. DG, I would also like to see how Tabyana Ali would handle it if Trina inherits schizophrenia from Marshall. Viewers would complain, but I like dark stories. I want to see good acting. Man, I don't know. I feel like if everything she had just gone through didn't set off schizophrenia in her, then I don't think much else will. We also seen her, watch her dad get shot right in front of her, too. She's been through it, but, she stayed strong, so I don't know. I don't think that we would see her with it necessarily. Because something would have to trigger it, right? Marshall needs to go and get killed by the hook killer. A source told me that Curtis could be targeted next. Time will tell. But let's quickly talk about Carly and Drew, since we were talking about Cameron Matheson. He went to Florida, and he's there to assist her on the takedown of that rich bitch whose motto is "Eat the poor and dig their graves." And that's pretty much the only thing worth noting, with them. There's not much more to report than that. There was some, shenanigans of, a couch that Carly offers him to crash on, thinking it was a hider bed, only for it to be just a couch, and he's like, no, it's fine. I was held hostage for 2 years, and all I had was a bunker. Drew is willing to have Aurora Media be the resource Carly can use to bring down Reese's mom and her group of minions or whatever. So we'll see how that turns out. They won't do the schizophrenia justice. Yeah, you're right. They barely mention the conditions the characters have now. That's true. How many storylines of health situations have we had in the last 6 or 7 years that they've just kind of swept under the rug? Because Anna is a cancer patient. They barely bring it up. Bobby, they made her diabetic, right? Haven't brought it up. Donna with spina bifida, haven't brought it up. And Britt's Huntington's disease, non-existent now. So yeah, there'd be no point. There'd truly be no point. Carly's storyline is different. It's different, and I'm not interested. You're not interested in it, Nathan? I don't mind it. Honestly, I hate how much screen time Carly gets. But truthfully, I'd rather her be off on her own somewhere, having her own storyline, than mixed in with everybody else's. So I'm okay with this. Robert also had cancer, but is in remission. Looks like GH forgot about that too. Yeah, that's one of those things, because it was on night shift. They did sort of tie it into the show briefly when they brought Robert back in kind of the end of 2008, I think, when Emma was born. But yeah, they don't mention that one either, though. You're right. DG. Over the last 20 years, all the soaps have gotten away from real life illness and issue stories. It sucks because the 80s and 90s were so much better on that score. Today's writing isn't really grounded. Yeah, you're right. It's unfortunate. And it's I have a feeling that there's stuff going on behind the scenes that make these storylines stop. I think that they, I always hear that soaps, they always have like these sort of like private viewings with like a group that gives opinions on what sticks or what is worth continuing and what's not, or where the interest is. And I think they always just turn down seeing the illnesses. That's my guess. Personally, I'd love to see an illness storyline told correctly, but I'm not hopeful. Let's talk Sasha. With Diane being out of commission, she's seriously stuck. Her bank account is frozen, so she can't even pay for Brando's funeral arrangements. Obviously, Diane was attacked before she could make the notion to put a continuance on the situation, given, the circumstances. But yeah, Nina had to pay for the funeral arrangements, and being in limbo over this matter is definitely going to do a number on Sasha's spiraling mental health. Poor girl. Like, I just feel so bad for Sasha. I don't know why they're putting her through this much hell. Although I did like the scene that Gladys sort of reiterated that she is family now. Doesn't matter that Brando is dead. She became her daughter-in-law the second they married, and whether Brando is here or not, that doesn't change. Sasha's going to turn into Britney Spears. Man, it's hard to say. Like, it was hard to figure out where they were going with this conservatorship storyline in the first place. And then when they killed Brando off, it was like, oh, okay. So, like, I wonder, like, I hope, and I feel like they probably will, but I hope that they don't have Gladys be a controlling freak that enjoys controlling Sasha, because they've given Gladys a lot of growth, and I don't want to see that all taken away with the storyline. I really don't. The EPs sometimes have to stand up to the network execs when they deny certain storylines. In the classic days, Gloria Monty, Agnes Nixon, and Bill Bell were fearless and told controversial storylines. Yeah. But I bet it's not a small feat to, stand up to the networks, because it's soaps, unfortunately, in the US, are not really cared about, So it's, I think Gloria Monty kind of set the sort of standard for soaps in the 80s, and it made networks want to compete with that. But, and other soaps as well. But, these days, soaps are people so little care about soaps these days that the networks probably see them as jokes and don't care, like, what, these producers want with the show. It's unfortunate. They're really kind of seen as the shit stains of the networks, which is sad because they've had such a long legacy with their soap operas. GH has been around for nearly 60 years now. Yep, the networks do hold the purse string. So if they dare even try to stand up to the network, they could just be like, well, we're canceling you. Man, like, there's probably so many politics we don't know about when it comes to the soap world. You know what I mean? Gloria Monty could do no wrong because she made GH such a ratings winner. Yeah, it's true, but today the networks barely give them a budget and viewership is so low. You're right, no one cares anymore. Yeah, that's the reality of it. You know what I mean? It's sad because, like, you look at, like, and we talked about this before, you look at soaps in the UK and they are, like, some of the most watched shows on television, and they have a budget and they're on 5 days a week. And I just wish networks, or maybe it's just the audience that's different here in like North America, that, like, just aren't into it. You know, we're very different people. I can see all the remaining soaps on streaming platforms now. I wonder if streaming platforms would give them more money. Like, does Days look any different now that it's on Peacock? For those that watch, if any of you watch, does it look like it has a bigger budget? Is there less strings being pulled with them being on a streaming network? Nina should take Sasha to Nixon Falls so she can regroup. Oh my goodness, where would they stay though? I mean, the bar that they lived in shut down, so or burned down rather. Sasha really doesn't have any family, no mom, dad, cousin, siblings. Who is Sasha Gilmore? She isn't related to Rory Gilmore. I mean, I feel like they established that she didn't have parents for some reason. Like back when she first came on. Like after we figured out that she wasn't really Nina's daughter. British shows are different. I really don't get European comedy. I love British comedy though. I really do. The show Absolutely Fabulous is like one of my favorite shows of all time. So hilarious. So like controversial now. Like they couldn't get away with what they, did back then in this day and age. But the humor was hilarious in my opinion. But Jennifer Saunders is also like the queen of comedy over there, so. I think the audience in the USA is different because here daytime serials started with most of the audience as stay-at-home traditional moms. I think in the UK, their serials were more of a family affair. You could be right. You're probably right. From what I hear, Days will get a bigger budget since they're on Peacock now. Well, yeah, like I'm not a Days fan, so I don't intend on getting Peacock and streaming it. But if you are, and you guys are watching, let me know what like the difference is, and if you think GH should go that route, if it means that they'll get a bigger budget. Like if the show looks impressive enough, then hey. I want to get French comedy, but I can't. Fair enough. Fair enough. Oh, you were going to ask me about AbFab? I loved AbFab. Primarily because I don't think... Oh, you don't drink alcohol. They were total lushes. Yeah, I mean, now that I... Listen. Like, yeah, I drink alcohol, but, like, I think... I mean, they're crazy. Like, Eddie and Patsy are crazy. They're, like... the worst exaggeration of an alcoholic or like drug addict, you know what I mean? Patsy was snorting coke everywhere she turned, and they'd make jokes about her not ever eating. But yeah, no, they were hilarious to watch. And you could tell that they just had a blast making the show too. Not quite, sweetie, darling. Oh man, some of their one-liners were so good, so good. I still watch like little like compilation clips of like their best moments. Oh man, Edina and Patsy. All right, but we have only kind of one thing to touch base on now. So we might as well get it out of the way. Let's touch base on Cody. Mac, Felicia, and Robert were all at the Metro Court, and Cody happened to be at the bar waiting for his date, Britt, and neither Mac nor Cody were thrilled about it. Britt arrived and pointed out that Robert was the DA as well as Mac's brother. Robert is curious why Mac was so interested in Cody, but before they could get into it, Mac got called to the scene of Diane's attack, and he and Robert both leave. So Felicia takes matters into her own hands, goes over there and says that Mac is a good man, and he's not trying to frame him for murder, and that he has nothing to worry about if he's innocent, but that his interest in him has nothing to do with the case, and she gives Mac's personal number, his phone number, and insists that he calls him. The following day, Cody decides to stop by Maxie's house to ask her questions, and he starts by saying, "Hey sis," and that was kind of meant to be as a joke, but it causes Maxie to be like, "Mac, talk to you?" And he was like, "No." So Maxie, kind of knowing that she was busted, says that she doesn't know for sure, but that the only thing that she knows is that Mac and his mom Dominique were together a long time ago, and that having Mac as a father wasn't a bad thing. You liked Red Dwarf over Abfab? Red Dwarf was good too. Cody needs to get hooked. Cody and Britt look forced. I hate it. I love Cody. I'm sorry. I'm here for Cody. I would rather have Felicia investigate Cody instead of playing nice. But Felicia's always been a bit of a sweetheart, but I think, she's going to welcome him with open arms first, but if she sees anything shady, of course she's going to look into it. Especially after what happened with Peter, But, Austin should be a little more looked into, and we're going to touch base on that in a minute, too. Why is Cody so paranoid and suspicious? I don't like or trust him. Well, obviously something in Cody's past makes him not like law enforcement, and I'm sure we're going to learn about it because it probably ties into whatever trouble he and Dante got into. I feel sorry for Mac if Cody is his son. Well, Mac was a bit of an asshole when he started, so this is just karma. Mac wasn't all sunshine and roses when he first came on. Much like, any character with a bit of rough edges, they get, they get layers as they go on. And Mac was lucky enough to inherit Robin as a daughter when Robert died, and Robert and Anna died. And of course he gained Georgie and Maxie when Frisco left Felicia. So, he became a good man and a good father. But he started out pretty much just as shady as Cody is now. So, Cody being Mac's son just doesn't make any sense. All of Dominique's and Mac's story was played out on screen. They never had a child. If Dom had any secret child, it would have to be Leopold's child. Mac had a rough edge. Clips? I don't know. I know his opening scenes were on YouTube, his first scenes. I don't know if they're still there. But, Robert knocked him the F off of the docks. It's been so long since I've watched his early stuff, too. But he was shady. He was a shady character. And he was in and out of jail, too. Mac also had an Australian accent, which is pretty hilarious because he sucked at it. And he sucked so much that he stopped doing it. I really wish that writers would delve back into Mac's past as a mercenary. He was a bad guy when he first came. He was hired to sink the ELQ. That's what it was. I knew it had something to do with Quartermains and a ship. But yeah, Mac was shady. His first scenes are still on YouTube. That was a fantastic location shoot. Yeah, they were. Yeah, it was on location as well. Gloria Monty at her best. What year was it? Was it 91? I feel like it was 91, right? 91 or 90. Something to note as well with the scenes of Cody at Maxie's house was that Spinelli and Austin were also there. Spinelli ran into Cody in the hallway as he left, And of course, Cody still seems to want to blackmail him, even though Sonny had threatened him. So he's not as afraid of Sonny as he made himself appear to be. And we'll talk more about that in a minute. But after Cody got inside the house and introduced himself to Austin, Cody seemed to flinch at the name of Austin, like Gatlin Holt. Gatlin seemed to mean something to him. And even Austin seemed to flinch at Cody. So there's something going on there. Early 91, okay. But yeah, anyway, eventually Mac and Felicia show up at the house. And they all try to sort of welcome him with open arms and saying, we're not a bad family to be related to, especially when you compare it to Leopold. Whether or not he turns out to be Mac's son, sorry. I think maybe they'll welcome him into the family anyway because, he was Dominique's daughter. But it does make me wonder if, Leopold is who Austin's working for. Now that they sort of had to make him flinch or whatever. Maybe Leopold's alive. I don't know. I wasn't watching back then. But it's not the first time they've undead someone on the show. I really don't understand how Cody can blackmail Spinelli. I don't understand how setting up a dating web app is legal. We're going to talk about that because there's been more revealed on that front, actually, DG. Have a good night, Albert. Once Mac and Felicia get to the house, Austin gets a text message and he says it's the hospital and he has to leave. And it's actually his cousin? Are we still not sure if he's actually his cousin or not? I don't know. But anyway, what we see is that there's a patient that was sent to the hospital, and it was clearly the cousin that sent him to the hospital to be checked out, specifically by Austin. And Austin brings the patient into a room, and the cousin follows him in, and the patient doesn't seem too alarmed or anything, and then he injects the patient with something. And we don't know what it is. It could be something that could kill him. Could be an experimental drug. Who knows? But yeah, we've seen a bit more on that front. And then as for Spinelli, we finally find out why Spinelli has been so hush-hush about everything involving his society setup ventures. He confesses to Sam that not only is he the one that's behind the website, or the dating app rather, but, and how it, how do I word this? He's obviously not Austin's cousin. That's a cover story. Austin is some kind of hitman. We'll see. The writers make it seem judging by the conversations that this guy has with Austin, it's almost like he's insinuating that he is his cousin, but it doesn't make sense. The patient thing was obviously meant to be a hit. But why wasn't he concerned when the other guy walked in? You know what I mean? Because he's clearly not a doctor. Sorry, there's a fly there. But yeah, as I was saying with Spinelli, he confesses to Sam that not only is he the one who's in charge of the website, but he explains how it has such success with couples, such a good success rate. And the reason is because Spinelli has been hacking into each and everybody's computers to get to know each and every one of them, to the point where the matches that they make are exactly perfect. So he's been hacking into God knows how many thousands and thousands of people's computers, including, probably some important people. Which Spinelli could get arrested for and do many many years of jail time. So that's why Spinelli's so hush-hush about it. The patient doesn't know that Austin works for the organization. But the patient... No, what I'm saying is that the patient wasn't concerned when the random guy that isn't Austin walked into the room with them. Because, Austin wasn't dressed as a doctor. Or whatever this guy's name is, he's not dressed as a doctor. He's in civilian clothing. He wasn't even remotely concerned about this guy. You know what I mean? That's why I'm confused. Bradford Anderson is so misused. It's sad. He's a good actor. Yeah, Bradford's a great actor. I mean, at least they're giving him more storyline than he's gotten in the last 10 years. But I do miss the more quirkier side of Spinelli. I am trying to figure out what the point of it is. Bradford is also a great guy in real life, a real family man. Yeah, he seems to be. I mean, he pretty much left GH because he wanted to spend more time with his family, right? Or build a family. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys, in terms of the storylines that we saw this week. There was a lot to talk about. I'm losing my voice as it is. But yeah. What'd y'all think of GH this week? He and Steve Burton tour the country. That I know. They do their comedy act. When is Holly returning? She gets back October 19th. Tentatively. Unless preemptions happen. Which is always a possibility on ABC. Can't wait for Esme's return and to see Emma Samms again on October 19th. GH was GH. Yeah, that about sums it up. GH is gonna GH. But yeah, I feel like this week was definitely slower than the last couple of weeks. The Hook story is a real interesting thing. Without Esme, it's been dull. I mean, I wouldn't say the show has been dull. It was this week. But generally speaking, I don't think the show has been dull without Esme. I just think it was kind of a cop-out to throw her over the balcony. Esme's returning. She is, yeah, they announced that she would be returning soon. I don't think that they gave her an air date, but we've seen pictures of her. Back on set in a hoodie. Not necessarily, I think maybe they're trying, I don't know. They had her in a hoodie, but I think not the same hoodie that the killer's been wearing. But she's definitely lurking in town again soon. Jeannie Francis is supposed to return soon. I think maybe this upcoming week. Well, she's definitely hanging out with the rest of the cast because they all went to the horse races over the weekend, I think. And Jeannie was there, so she's back in LA. And hanging out with everyone. A bunch of the cast basically went to the horse races. It was who was all there? Nancy Lee Graham was there. Jeannie was there. Maura West was there. Dominic, who plays Dante, was there. Chad Michael was there. Willow. TJ. Wally. Ned. I feel like I'm missing a couple, but a lot of the cast was there. All together hanging out. I predict the killer will be revealed just in time for November sweeps. Probably. Make that the climax of the storyline, hopefully. November's not that far away, so... You know, we're 2 days into October, but the months have been flying by. But anyway, guys, I think I'm gonna call it. It's been great hanging out with y'all, talking about the show. This Wednesday we will be live for GHMV Reacts. We're gonna try to finish off the Mexico storyline from 1984. And I think we can. I'm kind of gonna end it in like their last little bit in Texas, because they will all go to Texas to meet Felicia's grandmother. And I think that's a good way to end the viewing of the storyline. If y'all want to see the rest, and you can feel free. But I just think the timing works out, because by the time I get back from Montreal, it'll be about a week until Holly is seen. And then we can get into the spooky stuff. Hopefully I need this to come to an end. I predict someone else will also die. Yeah, I don't think we're going to have just one character die from this killer storyline. There's definitely going to be one or two more victims for sure. Because, and I think Jordan mentioned this too, since now the doctors are aware of the poison that is on the hook, that means the killer will likely switch things up to make sure their next victim, whoever it may be, will actually die. But yeah, thanks so much for watching, everybody. If you liked this video, give it a big old thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to. I'd really appreciate it. And I will catch you guys this Wednesday. There won't be a GHMV the next Sunday because I'll still be in Montreal. But when I come back the following Wednesday, there will be a GHMV Reacts. And also we'll recap the show because I'll be caught up by then. And we'll talk about it all on the same night. Alright? So peace out. Have a good night, everyone. Bye.